Hello and welcome. So just experienced the AC has been running majority of the day, so I don't know, I'd say probably a good 6, 7, maybe 8 hours today because it's been pretty hot outside. Also we noticed that it was dripping water inside through the vent. So I turned the air off. As soon as I turned it off, and the water just started pouring in. So I came outside here, took the cover off, so it would look like this to start with. There's those 4 screws that come off. This cover comes off, and then this box here, plastic box, is over the fins here in the blower motor. That was covering that up. And so there's 4 bolts, one here, one here, one there, one there. So there's actually 4 nuts that you take off, and there's 10 millimeter. So you take those off, this comes off, and then I set it to the side because there is, I think that's a capacitor connected to the side of it. So I just set it off to the side. And then I noticed that there's water sitting in here, and in this track, and in here, and then along this back side, and then same thing on this side by the motor. And then this, which you can kind of see is still wet. So I took this off and flipped it upside down, and it's full of like condensation. So I believe it's just condensation built up from over all day today. And then this white portion is actually the trim cover. That's that big square vent that you see on the inside of your camper or RV. It's up at the ceiling. That's the back side of it. So all that water, and then like this bolt, and that bolt, and that bolt, and this bolt are the 4 bolts that are covered by that trim piece on the inside that bolts the unit to the roof. And so the water was running down through those bolts, and then also was blowing in from the fan here. So when I turned the fan off, that caused the back pressure to stop. So then all that water that was in there all settled down, and then it started dripping on there and then running inside. Thankfully nothing got over by any of the electrical stuff, which is mostly over here. There is some electrical, obviously the motor, and there's a box here, but it was pretty, well, it's a little wet there, but it wasn't sitting in a pool of water like it was around the fan blades here. So I just used a rag and wiped that up, and then tried to wipe up the inside of that trim piece or the vent cover from the inside. I'll probably end up taking that vent cover off on the inside. That's just a matter of popping off the 2 side vents where the filters are, popping the filters out, and then there's 4 Phillips screws that you take out, and then that hole drops off the ceiling there. So I'll have to dry that all out. Always looking too on the inside of this hard plastic cover that was over the blower fan and over the coils. That's also pretty damp, so I'm going to dry that off with a towel as well. Normally what happens is these coils here build up condensation. It drips down in this pan, and then it runs down this pan, and then there's 3 weep holes here on this side, which then drains and then runs alongside your camper, which you can see a little bit here, and then drops off side of the camper to the gutter, which then runs to the end and then goes off the end of the gutter there. But obviously this here was a little different because it wasn't the condensation from the coils. This is just the condensation from it running and being hot outside and blowing the cool air inside from a very long period of time. So this is, like I said, it was 6 to 8 hours today. Normally you don't see this like in a sticks and bricks house or like in a normal house, because your AC unit is outside, and then your blower motor is in the furnace. So then just the bottom of your furnace would get a little wet, or sometimes you see that, then those end up like rusting out the bottom of the furnace, and that could be one of the issues of why that rusts out from that condensation. So just have to kind of keep an eye on it. I was trying to see too if there's any tips or things I could do if I can drill a hole to drain it, but problem is I can't drill straight down because then that's right to the inside of the camper. So you don't want more water dripping down and running into the camper or into the ceiling. So I was trying to figure out if there's another way that I can have it drain that water so it doesn't just pool there, but at the moment I don't see an option. If you've run into this or know if there's a better explanation as to why this happens or a way to prevent it, please drop it in the comments, let me know. Also, it's just helpful for everybody else to know too going forward, because obviously I don't want this to happen, and this is we're only in spring, it's not even summertime yet, so it's not even quite hot out yet. I mean, during the day it gets to the low 80s, but this is quite early for having this come up already. But I guess it's part of RV life. So yeah, so if anybody has any other suggestions or tips on how to get that water to drain without it draining inside, definitely let me know. Drop a comment in the comments below and let others know as well. Always, this is one of those, this is a Coleman Mach series. That came out at the end of 2023, so it's technically a 2024 model. So yeah, so these are supposed to be the low profile, so they don't stick up very high off the top of the RV either. Otherwise, that's all I have right now. Let me know if anybody else has any more info on this, but this is what we've run into. So right now I just turned it all off. For sure too, when you go to take this apart, make sure you cut the power before you take this apart, because you don't want this to turn on while you have it apart, because this fan could turn and your blower fan can also turn, or you can electrocute yourself. So make sure you do cut the power off. So find that breaker, flip the breaker before you start taking it apart. I'm no expert in these ACs, so I'm just, as I come up and see these issues, just kind of figuring out as I go. So hopefully this is helpful to somebody else, as it's been helpful to me. Thank you, have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.